People always ask me how travel therapists build wealth. Today, I'm going to open up my spreadsheet and show you everything. Hi everyone, I'm Marissa. I am a 29-year-old traveling physical therapist, and welcome to my first financial update. Every month, I'm going to share my income, spending, my investing as I work towards financial independence while balancing travel physical therapy, YouTube, and fitness. In this video, I'm going to go over the nitty-gritty, and that includes diving into my expenses, my income, my investment contributions. I'll go over my investment portfolio, my retirement accounts, and my net worth. Jumping right into the month of June 2026, it felt very productive. I actually started posting consistently on YouTube, and I posted 4 videos. I completed a whole month of the 75 Hard Challenge. I continued investing very aggressively, and I finally reallocated some of my savings into a more productive savings account. I also meal prepped every week, and overall, I'm really happy with the direction that things are heading in. Now we're gonna jump to the computer and start going over my income sources. So you are looking at my June 2026 income. At the top here, you can see there is something called a pay package. That is referring to how I get paid as a travel physical therapist, which is a little bit differently than how a traditional 9-to-5 physical therapist would make money. So because I work outside of my tax home and I double my expenses by living somewhere outside of where I am from, I get paid a non-taxable amount for meals and incidentals, which is this per diem amount here. And then I also get paid because I have additional housing costs. So I get $770 for housing, and then $476 for food, essentially. And then the only thing that I am taxed on in my paycheck is my regular hourly rate. So that totals up to $1,200 per week there. I get paid every week. So what I brought home was about $8,700. But what I actually saw go into my bank account was about $5,700 once I had finished putting money into my retirement. Now, other sources of income are my certificate of deposit. So I made interest of $134 there, and my total income for the month was about $5,800. So right now you are looking at the part of my spreadsheet where I add each and every expense that I had for the month. So you can see over here I have a whole bunch of June expenses. I like to log what kind of credit card I put them on. So I have Visa here, some things that went through Venmo, some things went through a Discover card or a Chase card. And then I have all my categories here. And then I have little notes about where the expense actually was, whether it was a grocery store or a specific gas station. And of course, I've got the dollar amounts over here. Now, this is pulling all my expenses together for the year. So you can see over here, I have my year-to-date total, or rather maybe over here at the bottom, I have my total running list of expenses for 2026, not just June. And then of that amount, these are my fixed expenses here. So all the expenses in the sheet that are listed in June, they get pulled and sorted into this spending by month and category tab. And this tab is much nicer to visualize how much you spent in what category. So some things of note where I had a little more spending than usual. Gas, I drove to where I'm from a couple times in the month of June. I also spent more in groceries this month for whatever reason. I spent some money in travel and lodging, and what that means is toll road fees as well as vacationing, booking rentals for an upcoming camping trip. My biggest expense was buying a new laptop, microphone, and tripod because I started a YouTube channel this month. So my total spending was $4,300 that you could see over here. And if I wanted to visualize that a little differently, I can look at my bar chart and see, woo, June is way up there. I don't anticipate that I'll have another month with high spending like this again because I really have everything I need now and I don't need to put any more money into the YouTube bucket for a while here. But it is significantly higher than prior months here. And you can also easily see just the visual of how much money I've spent. So in this tab, I will go in on the first of the month and I will input whatever amount I have in any of these accounts over on this column. So I will put in balances of my checking and savings accounts, what my Robinhood is looking like, how much my certificate of deposit has in it, my Roth IRA, and both of my Roth 401ks. I'll also put in my money in the pension that I have from a previous job and how my health savings account is doing. I'll also put in how my new cash management account is doing. I have them listed by category here, so that can sort down here and show me how much of my portfolio is in cash or CDs versus investments or pensions. Back up here, I do have some comments about the particular accounts, like, this savings account is for an emergency fund, or this one is my new cash management account that I just started in 2026, or when a particular Roth 401k was opened, or maturity date on my CD for easier management. Over here, I have a note about biweekly investments into Robinhood, and that has been my goal for the past year, was to invest into a global world stock, $2,500 twice a week, so that I can reallocate some of my money that I have laying around and make my money work for me by putting it into the stock market while I still maintain an emergency fund. Something else that I did that you can kind of see here is I had the savings account, my emergency fund, at an interest rate of 2.71%. I wasn't really happy with that interest rate. I knew there was better out there, so I went and I found a new one. This is a cash management account that I did in June, and it has a better rate of 3.29%. So I have all my money in here now and nothing here. Up here, I have some reminders for myself to help me reach my goals for 2026. I want to make sure I hit the limit for contributing to my Roth 401k retirement account, which is $24,500. And then the Roth IRA limit for this year is $7,500. Coming down here, you can see this is my growth versus the previous month. So in each of these cells that I have blacked out, I have my particular account balance, and all of those summate into this blue cell here that is also kind of blacked out in a way. But I did want to leave my growth here because I think it's interesting. So I can see here from July 1st, since June 1st, I increased my net worth by $6,793, despite my high expenses that I showed you on the other page of like $4,000 some dollars. So that is not a bad month. I have made more in previous months, but also that was largely attributed to the stock market going wild, and maybe even the stock market tanking in this month as an example. So that's my change in net worth based on the month. Down here, based on my most recent pay stub, I have my year-to-date gross pay and the net pay excluding my Roth, and then specifically how much is in my particular accounts for my retirement, as well as my Roth IRA and my Robinhood. Over here, I have the savings or investment rate as a percentage of my gross pay. So that's calculating it out at 84.2%, which is an excellent rate. I'm so proud of myself, and my goal is to keep going. I also have a saving and investment rate as a percentage of my net pay. Now, this is huge because I am currently reallocating some of my savings into Robinhood. As I mentioned, I'm investing $5,000 a month into Robinhood. So I'm pulling from that and I'm saving even more. So some of my biggest lessons learned for the month of June is that doing my meal prepping and cooking at home saves me money. That's pretty obvious to most of us, but cook at home if you can. Try not to eat out and cut down costs there. Something else, buying my camera equipment, my new laptop, tripod, my mic, just to start my YouTube channel, it was all worth it. Even though it was expensive and I have a new category for YouTube now, it was still all worth it. Lastly, don't let cash sit in a low interest account. So moving over your money into something that will get a little bit more interest will save you from doing more work in the future. Make sure you're kind of scouring the internet for higher interest rates if you can. My goals moving forward for July are to continue building wealth from my current income and to keep heavily investing like I already am. I want to continue to reallocate my old cash into investments. So my ultimate goal is to have $10,000 in an emergency fund in a high interest cash management account. And then the rest of it, I am slowly funneling into Robinhood to further increase my investments and make my money work for me. My next goal is to max out my Roth IRA. I'm also going to max out my Roth 401k and get the company match each pay period. Fifth goal here is something I am dreading, but I need to separate from my actively managed Roth IRA, and I need to start self-managing it. Doing this will help to improve the compounding because I won't pay the active management fees each month. The last goal I have is to increase my net worth by a total of $8,174. I think this is a high goal, but it's feasible. So thank you so much for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed this kind of content, and you can watch me as I continue on my journey to early financial freedom. Bye.